I never thought I'd see the day when my dog, Max, would witness magic for the first time. I mean, sure, I've seen him react to the usual things: squirrels darting across the yard, the mailman arriving with his bag full of letters, or even the sound of a can opener that sends him into a frenzy. But magic? That was a whole new ballgame. It all started one rainy afternoon when I decided to pull out a deck of cards. I'd been watching some magic tutorials online, and the idea of performing a few tricks seemed like a fun way to pass the time. I shuffled the cards, the familiar sound of the plastic coating sliding against itself filling the room. Max, my golden retriever, was sprawled out on the couch, his head resting on his paws, eyes half closed, as if he was already dreaming of chasing tennis balls. I called his name, and he lifted his head, his ears perked up, curiosity peaked. I showed him the deck, waving it in front of him like it was the most exciting thing in the world. He tilted his head, a classic dog move that always made me laugh. I could almost hear him thinking, "What's that? Is it food?" I started with a simple trick, the classic pick a card, any card. I fanned the deck out in front of him, and he sniffed at it, his wet nose brushing against the glossy surface. I could see the wheels turning in his head. "This doesn't smell like treats," I imagined him thinking. "What's the deal?" I asked him to pick a card, and of course he just stared at me, his big brown eyes wide and innocent. I laughed, and then I just picked a card myself, showing it to him. "Look, Max, it's the Ace of Hearts." I flipped it over, and he seemed to lose interest, his attention drifting to a fly buzzing near the window. But I wasn't ready to give up. I decided to try a different approach. I pulled out a handkerchief, a bright red one, and waved it in front of him. "Watch closely, Max," I said, and with a flick of my wrist, I made it disappear into my fist. His eyes widened, and he jumped up, tail wagging furiously. I could see the confusion on his face. "Where did it go?" he seemed to ask. I slowly opened my hand, revealing the handkerchief again. Max barked, a short, surprised yelp that echoed through the room. It was as if he was saying, "How did you do that?" I couldn't help but laugh. I was thrilled to see him so engaged. I repeated the trick a few times, and each time his reaction was more animated. He would leap off the couch, his paws hitting the floor with a soft thud, and run over to me, sniffing my hands, as if he could somehow uncover the secret behind the disappearing cloth. Then I decided to take it up a notch. I pulled out a small box, one of those classic magic props that you see in every magician's kit. I placed a treat inside, closed the lid, and then, with a flourish, I made it disappear. Max's eyes nearly popped out of his head. He was bouncing on his paws, looking between me and the empty space where the box had been. "Where's my treat?" he seemed to say, his tail wagging so fast I thought it might take off like a helicopter. I couldn't resist. I reached behind my back and pulled out the box again, opening it to reveal the treat. Max's reaction was priceless. He jumped up, his front paws hitting my chest as he tried to get closer to the box. It was as if he was saying, "You're the best magician ever. Can you make more treats disappear?" I spent the next hour performing every trick I could think of. I made coins vanish, pulled scarves from my sleeve, and even attempted a card trick that I had only half mastered. Each time, Max was right there, his eyes glued to me, his head tilting in that adorable way that only dogs can manage. He was my biggest fan, my little audience of one, and I couldn't help but feel a swell of joy watching him react to each new illusion. At one point, I tried to make a rubber ball disappear. I held it in my hand, closed my fist, and opened it to show that it was gone. Max's expression shifted from excitement to confusion, and then to sheer determination. He sniffed my hand, then the floor, and then back to my hand again, as if he was convinced that the ball had to be somewhere nearby. I couldn't help but chuckle at his persistence. "It's magic, buddy. It's not supposed to be logical," I said, but he didn't care. He was on a mission, his nose working overtime, searching for the elusive ball. I finally revealed it, tossing it across the room, and he took off like a rocket, barking joyfully as he chased after it. As the afternoon wore on, I realized that this little magic show had turned into something more than just a way to pass the time. It was a bonding experience, a moment of pure joy shared between me and my dog. Watching Max react to the tricks, his excitement and confusion reminded me of the simple pleasures in life. It was just me, a deck of cards, and my dog. But in that moment, it felt like we were part of something magical. I couldn't help but think that maybe, just maybe, there was a little magic in every day waiting to be discovered, if only we took the time to look for it. And as I watched Max prance around the room, tail wagging, I knew that I'd never forget the day my dog reacted to magic tricks for the first time.